Welcome back to Live 4D Now podcast. We're here to help you thrive in every dimension, body, mind, soul, and spirit. And today I'm joined with a very good friend of mine, Kelly Jordan. We're going to be looking at life transitions, trauma, and just being the best you can possibly be with yourself. And Kelly's here to help you through this and just give you a bit of information about herself. Kelly is a certified professional life coach who specializes in navigating life's transitions. She loves working with women, especially who are going through those changes in life that we all know about: menopause, perimenopause, dealing with postmenopause, and then also the trauma of some of those things and the trauma of life. She is qualified in working with military relationships, and she has a unique blend of wisdom, humor, and deep empathy. Kelly helps clients not just survive change, but rewrite the story with courage and clarity. So if you ever feel stuck in a season of heartbreak, divorce, reinvention, Kelly's just the person for you. So, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for letting me be here.
So, give us a bit of information about you. How did you get involved in coaching?
I went through a traumatic divorce. I was a mom, a wife for years and years, and one day it just wasn't the case anymore. And so I really had to look back and go, what can I do that's going to be a new purpose? You know, what's my life purpose going to be? And I heard somebody say that purpose is using your passion in the service of others. And so I thought, okay, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about women. I'm passionate about letting them really reinvent themselves and really make a better journey for themselves. You know, just having sometimes you know where you're going, you just don't know how to get from point A to point B. And that's really where I come in. I don't tell you what to do. I really just say, hey, this is where you're at. Where do you want to be? How do we get you there? And just kind of that's how that's kind of how we deal with things. So yeah, that's me. And I just love seeing hope. I think a lot of times when people come to me, they don't have hope. They're sitting in a season where there's storms and there's disasters, and you're really trying to figure out where you're going to go next. And so I think it's really great to see them have the light bulb moment and see that hope and go, wow, I wish I'd thought of that. So I think, you know, it's inside of you anyway. I think sometimes when people express different, I guess, ways of thinking, it'll pull something else out of your brain that you've never thought about. So that's kind of what I do.
I like how you relate that to seasons. So, give me a bit of introspect about that. Tell me a bit about your seasons, the good, the bad, the ugly. How do you clarify them? How do you classify them?
Well, so a lot of people put your whole life in different, I guess, seasons. You know, you're a young person, you're an adolescent, you're young married, you're a lot of those things. And I feel like that each of those sections have different seasons. Some seasons are like winter. Winter is extremely dark. It's not something that we like to have forever. I live in Colorado and it is snowy a lot, but we need the snow. We love the snow because it's going to produce the water that we need in the rivers and for our drinking, for the kayaking, for all sorts of the things that we need, and to keep us from having fires. So winter has its own benefits, and so I think learning how to thrive through that and not just suffer through it, put coats on and stay inside. You know, let's teach you how to go out and explore that part of your life. It could be dark. You know, you could be going through a divorce, and that could be that winter. But spring always comes, and that's what I love about spring. Spring can bring flowers, and spring brings you the ability to go outside so much. And especially here, spring is new birth. It's beautiful. It also has pollen, so it's not all perfect. So every season, you know, if you can just really embrace the season that you're in and realize, okay, this is spring. We're preparing for a really wonderful summer. We are fertilizing the lawn. We are trimming back things. We're cleaning up from the winter. and we're going to prepare for a fun summer. So we're going to kind of look through what we'd like to do next. What's the next thing I want to learn? What is the next thing that I don't want to learn? What is something in my life that I don't want anymore? So I think we can reevaluate that. Summer is fun. It's my favorite season, except for autumn, which is football. But so summer is just fun. You can get out there. That part of your life sometimes can be short. Sometimes it's long. Sometimes it can be such a fabulous rebirth of yourself, enjoying the work that you've done, really sitting back, sitting by the pool, sitting by the beach, relaxing and enjoying that part of your life and not wishing it through. I think sometimes we look at our seasons and we go, gosh, I wish winter would come. Gosh, I wish summer would come. And we don't really live through and embrace the season that we're in. So yeah, I like that. And then fall really is, we know it's coming. We know winter's coming, so we really have to prepare. And I think fall is probably the most important season to me, is that, you're going to have hardships. You're going to have something happen. You may not know it tomorrow. You may be surprised by a diagnosis of disease. You might be surprised of a separation in your marriage. So let's get you to the point where you're not surprised, or you're surprised, but you're not overwhelmed with that surprise, and you can focus. Okay, you can look, okay, I'm gonna be fine. I can do this. I am strong. I am focused. I can do what I need to get through this season, and not just get through it, but really enjoy it and learn something new in every season. So that's kind of why I go through the seasons with the people that I try to work with, just giving them hope that nothing ever stays the same. You're not going to stay unless you're in Antarctica, which I can't help you there. Sorry, there is summer there.
Now, you've lived through most of this. It's not just that you're talking about it from, oh, you've read it in a textbook. You've lived it. You've gone through divorce. You've gone through your kids leaving home. You've gone through all the travel, the turmoil, everything regarding moving around, reestablishing home base every single time you guys moved around, just trying to, get back out there. How has it impacted you as a person, and how you actually have kind of developed and grown out of your own shell? Because I mean, I've seen some of the photos of you pre and after, and I must say, wow, you've done a lot of work on yourself. So let's go into a bit of that. How much have you worked on Kelly?
Oh, well, when the kids left, I reinvented that part. I thought, okay, I'm going to have a husband. We're going to enjoy empty nesting. We're going to move to a new state. We're just going to enjoy the new chapter. Um, Except that that's not what happened. So I think you really had to look into what I wanted at the end. And I looked at who I was. Now, I will tell you, I mean, there were several days where I didn't get out of the bed, didn't move from the sofa. All I did was flick on Netflix, and I don't remember watching anything. I don't remember eating. So that does happen. But I think when I got to the point where I said, okay, I can't live like this, I've got to get through this. And so I started working on me. I started working on body, mind, soul, spirit, exactly what 4D says. And just looking at every part of me and really saying, okay, what can I do to sleep better? Because sleeping was a bad thing. Uh, what can I do to sleep better? What can I do to have more energy? How can I treat my body better? As a mom, we don't think about ourselves a lot. If we get a chicken nugget every once in a while, we're doing good, and so that's not going to help us. We really need to put the things into our bodies that we need to. And we're different than men. We're amazing creatures, created with certain needs of nutrients and vitamins and protein and everything. And so I learned a lot. I thought I knew a lot. I learned a lot. I really just kind of took every part of my life. And I think balance was my key word in this whole thing. I felt like a lot of times I was over into the physical, trying to get healthy, trying to work out, trying to do something, learning something new. And then I wasn't getting the emotional. I wasn't really working on my friendships and working on me, self care as a person. My spiritual walk was extremely important to me. And so I think using that part of my life to change that part, I think it was a transformation there. I think from the inside out, which is a lot of things. A lot of times, what happens with nu- nutrition is because you don't realize that that's. I mean, you can put all the lotion on you want on your face, and I mean it's going to be great. But if you're not giving it the water and the things that
Yeah.
that's needed, you're just not gonna you're not gonna have that pretty face that you know skin that you really want. Although I'm Irish, so I get all splotchy anyway a lot of times. So it happens. It's just what it is.
How important was having a supportive community or just some type of support around you through all those different transitions?
Yeah, huge. I think that's one of the things that I recommend is just building your support network. When things change, whether you're moving, whether you've changed careers, whether you've changed and you're now no longer married, things change. Your friends change. Sometimes you gain friends, sometimes you lose friends. It's a lot of times it's really hard to address, I guess, that part of it. So there are different ways of getting support. I'm a big believer that some people are going to give you the support that you need at the moment, and some people aren't. And so you can't be, I guess, blaming people that are not there for you and you're there for them so much. I think, support is a big circle. You're going to give love out to the universe and you're going to get it back. You may not get it back from the same people that you're supporting or you're loving, but it's coming back. I mean, it will come back. And so finding that support system that's going to, give you tissues when you're bawling or when you aren't eating, they'll bring food to your house. And I'm very blessed to have a small group of just sisters and just people that have drugged me out of throwing Cheerios at my face sitting in a corner, because there are times when that happens. So, so yeah, I think support system, do something new. Join a walking group, join a book club. I did it. It's not for me, but some people love it. So join something, do something new and get a different support system. Get people that understand what you're going through. Maybe none of your friends have been through divorce or none of them have gone through menopause. So find somebody that has, find somebody that's new. And if you don't really want to participate in that group long term, so think of it as a season. Hey, I went in, I met a couple people, and they're going to be the people that I call when I want to go hiking, or they're the people that I want to call when I want to go out and have a drink or something. So yeah, I think it's family can be supportive. I do believe that they're going to support you in a way that sometimes isn't quite what you need at the moment. They're thinking more about what you might need at the moment from their point of view. And I think a lot of times afraid to be give you the tough love. They don't want to make things worse. And you've got to have somebody in your life that's going to say, dude, get a shower. Like, really, exactly. Put your shoes on, exactly. So it's important to have all sorts of support. So I think that's huge in every aspect of our life and transitions. Military families, let me say this, we moved all over the place, and I certainly didn't move as much as many, 8 or 9 places, but every place that we went, we really had to find a support system immediately. So there are a lot of times when we moved away from people, we didn't have our family, we didn't have anyone there. And with our spouses deployed, when you've got to have an emergency contact for your daycare and you're like, well, I met you 3 days ago, can you be my emergency contact? And I think it's forced friendship at first, but it just becomes a family, and I love that part of it. So yeah, so whatever area, whatever transition that you're in your life, find that support system, find what you need.
Now, I know this personally led you on your journey of becoming such an awesome coach. It's helped you flourish, but it started with you also having a coach, from what I remember. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
How did having a coach who was someone neutral, so to say, help you just build yourself?
So the big difference between therapy and coaching, because I did have them both, is coaching is going to take you, it's going to help you accept reality as it is right now. It's going to help you find what you need inside of you, outside of you, spiritually, however, whatever you need to get to where you're at. Find out what you want. Like sometimes we don't know what we want. We're like, okay, well, we thought we were going to be married for 75 years. I thought I was going to, live in Virginia for the rest of my life. So, if you look at that part and think, okay, I'm going to try the next step. We don't have to figure out what's at the end. We just need to figure out our next step. And coaching really allows you to figure out, what you want, what the next step is, and how to really, I guess, set some goals. Maybe you've never set goals in your life. This is a time where you really have to think inwardly and think, I'm going to think about myself maybe for the first time in my life. So what do I really want? Do I really like to read books? Do I really like to hike mountains? What do I really like? And so he was amazing. He and his wife were just amazing for me. I think just transformed me. And they might have not saved, I guess, my marriage in the way that I had wanted, but saved me and allowed me to really find myself. Therapy is really good because it pulls things from your past and really figures out why you accepted what you did and why you didn't think that you deserved a better relationship or you didn't deserve to go back to school. You didn't deserve that part of you. So I think that both of them are equally important at just different times in your life. So I think coaching was fantastic. And I really just love doing the same thing to other people. I love to see that, oh my gosh, you've done so fantastic. And I'm such a cheerleader anyway. I just love being that cheerleader for someone. And sometimes you don't have that in your life. You don't have somebody that'll say, stop throwing Cheerios at your face, but also you did fantastic. You lived through this week. This was a horrible, horrible week, and you did it. Good girl. Good job. So yeah, it's good.
So now some of the things you deal with are very emotional. Okay. A divorce, it's emotional, it's messy, it's ugly. It's some people want the divorce, and then there's always the person who doesn't want the divorce. You get stuck in their pain the whole time. And it is something that's painful. So, how do you help them work through that pain and get clarity and confidence? So, what's your process like?
Good question. Well, I think everybody's different. And so when you really look back and you go, okay, what happened. That's reality. So there's three things I think you need to do: accept the end of the marriage, accept the end of that transition or that season in your life. Grieve the loss. I mean, and grieving isn't going to just happen overnight. Grieving is a process that can take years. You can be fantastic and then all of a sudden hear a song and go, this sucks. And then really just focus on self-care. Those three big things I think are important when things happen like that. But accepting the fact that, like I said, that this happened, um, and accepting the fact that regardless, you owe it to yourself to get better and you owe it to yourself to be a better person in the end. And so you sit with the grief, you sit with them. As a coach, I sit with them, I cry with them. I cry at supermarket openings, literally. I will cry right with you. So but joy comes in the morning. There's tears always end, and so we grieve, we accept it, we hold on to that grief for a minute, and then like a box, we put it in a box and we put it on the shelf, and we go, okay, I might need you, grief. I might need you later, but right now I don't need you. I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go have lunch with a friend of mine, and so but then if you need that grief, you walk in and you see a wedding picture or something, or you have to deal with all that, and you are going to take that box back and you're going to hold on to it and you're going to take care of it. But then I think that was the biggest thing that I did. I didn't ignore the grief. I thought I should be better. I'm a fantastic mom and I'm a smart woman and I shouldn't be grieving as much as I was. Well, who said that? Who decided that grief was going to be an overnight thing? It's not like that. And really giving yourself permission to grieve even 10 years after issues. So so just being who you need, being your best friend, because you're not going to be a horrible person to your best friend. You're not going to tell her to get up, don't deal with that, or don't deal with that, don't accept that. We're going to go out and deal with that. I think a lot of people jump right into relationships right after another, like a destroyed
Oh,
relationship.
I will
And
vouch for that one. And it didn't work. It crashed and burned. It was atrocious on so many levels. I didn't have the support systems. I didn't have the people that I could talk to. And that grief bus hit me. And the first person who batted their eyelashes to me, my brother used to joke about it so often. He's like, I'd look for the saddest, sorriest person and just try to save him. And there I was again, not dealing with me because it was easier to deal with someone else. So I can completely understand that, having someone to grieve with and having someone to call you out on that is so important because you lose so much of yourself during a grieving process. So, looking at that, how would you deal with somebody who's just freshly come out of that?
so everybody's different, like I said before. And there are some people that jump right into, okay, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. They do say don't change anything big for the first couple of months. I feel like that's putting everybody in one big box and saying you can't change anything, because some people want to change something immediately. So I believe that everybody's going to have a different journey. And so let's see what you need. If you need us to sit and cry for a couple weeks, then let's cry for a couple weeks. Let's grieve that. But let's figure out a way to get out of that too. Let's figure out a way to do the next step, do the next right thing, do the next thing that is important to you. And it could be exercise, it could be adding something fun, it could definitely be stopping the isolation. That's the first thing that we do. We get depressed and we isolate ourselves. We don't want to bother anybody else. We don't want to show someone that we are not as strong as we could possibly have been in the past. And yeah, you need to really deal with the grief, but you also need to make sure that you are doing something for you. And so the process really is, let's find out what you need to do for you. Let's figure out what you need. Do you need more support systems? Do you need to be pushed out a little bit more and out of your comfort zone? I remember when I decided that I was going to start hiking, I was like, okay, I can hike. Well, my third hike was a 14er, which is 14,000 feet up. And who would have known, like, I'm doing that? But I did. And it was fantastic. I think when I got to the top, it was the most glorious day ever, because I never thought 4 months or 6 months earlier I would be where I was. So just really helping people like I did discover who you are and who you want to be. I think it's an amazing thing and a journey for both menopause, for transitions, for anything, is you've got permission to change things. I mean, you always have permission, but you really do have a stop and a change in season, change in your life. And so if you don't like your job, let's change it. If you went to college to be an engineer and you absolutely hate it and you want to be out there as a park ranger, so who says you can't be? So I think a lot of that, trying to assist them to find out what you like and giving yourself permission to stop things. I'm a big believer that you don't allow children to stop things that they have joined. If you're going to start the baseball season, you don't ever have to do baseball again, but the team counts on you and you're going to finish that season. But you're an adult. If you go to one wine tasting class and they are goofy and you're not fitting in, then don't go back. Literally, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to feel as though you don't have boundaries in your life. I think a lot of times we get there and we go, oh no, I've not said no in the last 17 months. Do I know how to say the no word anyway? Can I say that? And giving yourself permission to do that, and just say, I'm going to do this. And if I don't like it, I don't have to start. I don't have to do it anymore. I can do something different. So
So, how does your faith show up in coaching spaces? I mean, even when the clients aren't religious.
well, I think everybody is spiritual. Spiritual part of you is just innate, and I think me as a believer that God has created us and God created us for a purpose, I feel as though we can get that spiritual need filled with anything. A lot of times, your spirituality is in nature. I love to be at the beach. There's something about water that maybe I'm part mermaid. The water's really that really refreshes you. And think about when you're outside and you listen to the birds and you're hearing all of the fun noises that you hear when you're out in nature, and you think, wow, this is fabulous, this is fantastic. Meditation is another spiritual thing, and I think a lot of people don't jump to yoga or meditation because they feel like, oh no, that's too spiritual and I'm not into that. It's not like that. It's embracing stretching and yoga and meditation the way you want to meditate. If you want to meditate on the Bible, meditate on the Bible. If you want to meditate on the sound of the birds or the waterfalls, let's do that. Whatever's going to center you. I think God's going to work with that. And so I really work with people that believe strongly that God has a plan for their life, or a higher power has a plan for their life. And I also work with people that just know that there's something outside of them that is giving them courage and strength and purpose and helping them to even embrace that. There's a lot of people that don't know how to embrace their spirituality. So I think that that's very important, especially when you've got your balance, your body, mind, soul, and spirit. I think all of them are equally important at certain times.
Awesome. And I mean, like for someone like me, I'm now coming into that season of the big changes. So menopause is about to hit me. What advice would you give me as someone who's just about to start there?
Welcome to the dark side. I I think a lot of it's really fun. I feel like we fear we fear change. We fear the dark side of us, and we think, oh no, we're gonna have hot flashes, we're gonna have the changing, we're gonna be angry, we're gonna have anxiety. But to be fair, it's really a change. It's a loss of your original purpose. We won't be having babies anymore. Some of us are like, yes. Some of us, it's grieving because we never had babies. And so there's a difference where, when we are adolescents, when we're going through that change, when we're getting our cycles, when we're doing all of that, this is kind of the opposite. We're now getting rid of all those. The hormones are going away. And that kind of stress, if you remember how you were when you were a teenager, that kind of stress is the same stress that we're going through. And so when you lose your purpose, I think sometimes you go, no, I can't be a mom anymore. I can't have that part of me. And it's fearful, but I think embracing that part and going, you know what? This is going to be really great. This is going to be hard. We're going to walk through this. We're going to have all of the issues with anxiety, depression, body issues, sex. Everything's going to change, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be something that we can really embrace and be the next person that we want to be. Reinvent ourselves, reinvent the story, change the chapter. So, and I think a lot of times there's things that we don't know. There's a lot of information out on the internet. There's a lot of people that are specializing, I guess, in getting you through menopause. I think I take the aspect of let's hold on to your strength. Let's get your strength and realize what a powerful woman we are. We are amazing creatures. And so using that part of us, to harness the passion and the strength that we need to get through this next cycle is fantastic. I love to hear about all the fun stories about different religions, different things that they would honor, I guess, honor the women that were older and that were going through all of that. I think a lot of, and some of them are fun things. There's a particular, I guess when you think about menopause, you think anger, you think rage and things. And there's Hindu, I believe. Don't quote me, but there is like I guess it's a goddess per se, that there's a woman that's the goddess of home that's really the good girl. She's at home. She's doing the chores. She's raising the family. She's making sure that the hearth is great. And then at one point, you've got this evil witch that's just going to come out of your body, and you're just like, oh no, what is that? And I think that's an amusing way of saying that's sometimes how we feel. There's anger that comes up that we go, I was not really that angry at that person that cut me off, but yet I'm planning their demise, hoping they get caught by the police because they pulled out in front of me. So, but there's a lot of things. I think fear is the biggest thing. It's fear of we don't know. If you remember, if you were even fearful and it's exciting when you get your cycle started and when you get your first period, but that's also fear. You're like, oh no, what's happening now? And so I think that's where we're at now. Just to kind of, let's figure out who you are right now. Let's figure out what your body needs. Let's figure out what your mind and your spirit needs, and make a plan.
That sounds good. So, another thing that I know about you, because I know you, is right now you are entering the dating scene. How much has it changed compared to how it was initially for you?
Can we do an entire video on that just alone?
Oh, we can definitely.
Oh, Lord. Wow. Well, it's yeah, and I will say that I had a lot of my friends that encouraged me right away, and I was not ready. Not just the fact that my personal beliefs were covenant based, and I wasn't gonna do anything that was gonna, I think, harm my belief that covenant is for life. So once I got past that and really realized that I'm okay to maybe even just take a step in. So I first met some people as a group in person, which is kind of how we did it back in the long time ago. And so we had a connection. And so I went to baseball games and sporting events and dinners and just kind of got myself out there and learned how to talk to somebody different. When you talk to somebody for 30 years or you flirt with somebody for 30 years and you go, no, do I even know how to flirt anymore? And so just kind of embracing that part of me. I could be goofy. If they didn't like it, we didn't have to go back out again. And so I think also for me, taking the physical out right away was important to me because I get a little bit distracted by that part. So I think doing that, but then you might take a break in the middle. I took a break for I think I started that and then I took a break for a year almost and thought, I don't need that. I'm going back to school to finish my degree. There's a lot of things that I just didn't want. And then I thought one morning, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this again. And so I joined two different, and I won't say who they are because they're crazy, but I joined two different dating sites, completely different people. And I mean, at first I was getting, thankfully, no pictures, but I was getting proposed different things. Like one guy said, um, what would you like if you were my wife? What kind of diamond would you like? And I'm thinking, dude, I don't even know whether you like Coke or Pepsi first. Let's get past that part. And then I'm getting the latest was probably the most amusing one. I got a message that said, hey, you're gorgeous. I can't believe that you're single. I'm looking for somebody that wants to be taken care of as like a hot wife. But you can do whatever you want. You can have relationships with other men. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to stay home and I'm going to take care of you and your needs. And I'm thinking, that's going to be a no for me. That's just not what I'm looking for. So we have a great thing called Block. and you're allowed to block people on all of these dating sites. And so it's been interesting. You have conversations with people that you have very close hobbies and things that you're just the same. And then you have people that you think, wow, this person grew up with 15 brothers and sisters on a farm, and you go, well, maybe I can pull something out of that. I did have two brothers, and so I had to run around and stop getting beat up. But no, I love my brothers; they're fantastic. But it's different. It's different. We're raised differently. We have different morals and values, and that's the biggest thing in this whole dating thing was I'm not going to settle. I had an amazing, for a while, an amazing marriage, amazing relationships in my life. But there are things that I don't need to put up with anymore. I don't want to put up with things like that. And red flags aside, there are personal red flags to me. And I think if somebody is overwhelming with exercise or overwhelming with drinking, that's just not me. And so I don't have to go out with him. I don't have to feel as though, oh no, he paid for dinner. I need to kiss him goodnight. I don't have to do that. I can be who I am, and I can really just embrace that part of me and go, okay, I didn't like this about him. I didn't like this about me. So what's going to be different the next time? And so it's been exciting to I guess renew that side of me that hasn't been around for a long time. We didn't have technology back then when I was looking for love back then, back in my early 20s. But it's the same, but it's different. And so I think when we embrace the different parts of the newness, don't throw dating sites out just because there's what is on Netflix about all of the evil people that you meet, that are scamming you. Okay, there are scammers out there, absolutely, but don't throw all of it out just because there's one or two scammers. Just be smart. Don't go anywhere that you can't get out of there quickly. Don't go anywhere that somebody doesn't know where you're going. Specifically, my kids, we have the Life 360 back on because they want to know where their mama is. So it's kind of funny. So whole role reverse. They're all at home with significant others, and I'm going out, and they're like, "Mama, we need to keep you safe." So no problem there. I'll do that. But yeah, it's been interesting.
So you've got grown-up kids now. They've moved out of the house. How did it feel when that happened?
Wow, that was hard. They left to go to college, and I kept thinking, okay, one left first, the other was at home for a couple more years. But when she left, it was like, okay, well, that's fine. They'll come back for summers. That's fine. I can deal with Christmas and stuff. Eventually they stopped coming home for summers, and I didn't get a choice in that. They wanted to stay. They had a class. They were working on their masters. And so I thought, wow, this is awful. And there was another grieving process where you have to go through that, and looking at their bedrooms where it was all, you're wishing you'd yelled at them for how many years to clean it up, and you're now wishing that they were there to leave dishes on the side of the bed. You're just sad. But I love each part of their life, and so I have learned to just adore them as adults, and see just how the things that they did as a young person have made them into this fabulous young people and young adults. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like I had to look at the entire thing as a big picture and go, okay, this has changed, but this hasn't. I can still talk to them on video. I can still be a part of their life. I can still get that part of my needs met. And I also think some people start maybe going and working with young people, working in the nursery at church, going back to as a volunteer. I volunteered for several years after as a PTA president, and working with some of the events for years afterwards, probably because I couldn't say no, but also because I was getting something out of it. I really felt like that I still had something to give, and I wanted to share. But when think at the whole thing as a whole, and you go, okay, I I can love this part of it, and I can still ask them for first day pictures when they're going to college. And I got them up until the day they graduated. I got first day of school pictures, and it's fantastic. I think they know their mama is goofy and crazy and fun and also emotional, and they know what I need now as adults. And I think just communicating, hey, I miss talking to you, can you really put me in your life? I know you're going through exams right now, so can I send you a basket of treats and goodies, or can I pay for dinner so you guys can get out and have those things that aren't pizza and chicken nuggets? Let's go out for a nice steak or something to get you kind of back to that. So I think changing our relationship was a good thing, but at first it was really sad. It was really sad, but we all
I
lived
can
through it.
understand that one. It's that when your kid tells you, I want to do it, I'll choose my own clothes, I'll get my own food, yeah. And you're going, but I was helping you yesterday with that. And you
Yeah.
like me helping you. And it's
Yeah.
them discovering themselves. It's difficult to actually move through on those.
Right. It's mommy do, mommy do, mommy I do. And I think I wish, I wish we were told that this is the last time they're going to crawl in your lap. And this is the last time that we're going to help them tie their shoes, because then we'd be like, okay, we're going to concentrate, we're going to be there for that moment. But we're not. We don't know the last day that they're going to reach for you. And I will say my kids still crawl in my lap sometimes, which is fabulous. I love it. But knowing that part can change, and it's okay. And to give them the ability, we train them, we give them the abilities inside to fly, and then we're going to have to push them out of the nest. We certainly don't want to have them in the nest forever, because that's going to be very crowded, with personalities and all sorts of things. So it's a good thing.
So it's been awesome having you here to talk with me. I want to just thank you so much for your time. And things that I love about you, Kelly, you are awesome. You are honest. You meet people where they are in the mess, and you help them see the beauty that's still to bloom. And that is just something that is so positive about being friends with you and just getting to work with you is your honesty, your openness, and just understanding. So thank you again for joining. I hope you have an awesome one.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here, Tammy. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me and Kelly today and just listening to our podcast. In the next couple of days, you will see that we will be hosting a free You Got Served webinar with Kelly for about an hour long. There's going to be multiple sessions that you can join us with. It's free, no cost, no charge. So please look forward to that link at the bottom and register to join us. In addition, I just wanted to say thank you again because you got to hear some key takeaways out of this, that life doesn't just end. There's changes, there's seasons, things go bad, they get right again, and there's ways and processes to do it. And one of the best things that I like is you don't have to do this alone. As Kelly mentioned, coaching is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. It helps you get over that hill and over that hump. So please take a look at the link. You'll be able to see all of Kelly's details there and book her for a coaching session. Enjoy, guys. Bye.